Hello, hello, hello. Hey, this is Warren Redlick. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to have a different topic today. We're going to talk about men in Thailand primarily, who say, oh, don't marry a Thai woman. I think this will apply to men who talk about Filipino women, men who talk about women from Latin America, women from Eastern Europe. I think you're going to hear a lot of the same things if you look at those other topics. And I posted on if you look at the thumbnail of the video, you'll see um, there's a number of videos that say never marry a Thai woman, never marry a Thai girl, and I find this comical. So we're going to start with this guy. This is a shorter clip, and then there's a longer video where this guy's you're like watching a motorcycle drive, and the guy's talking about his experience and why and much longer, much more content, a lot more to talk about. But I want to start with this guy because I just think this guy is funny. It's like like how could you have been in Thailand this long and say something this dumb? So here we go.
Get married, all that changes. Your visa is dependent on the fact that you maintain your marriage. And if you don't maintain it, in other words, if you get divorced, as far as more, and you can correct me on this, I don't check statistics, as I said to you, it's from my own experience. But as best I know, you've got 7 days to leave the country.
So it may be true that if you're on a spouse visa and your marriage ends, you might have to leave the country. Nobody's forcing you to get a spouse visa. He actually mentioned before this clip that you can be on a retirement visa, and it's like, well, why did you change from a retirement visa to a spouse visa? Could you turn that off? Turn off Patlum? I don't know if you guys are hearing the fan. Sometimes the fan affects the microphones. I just asked my wife. We're going to talk about marrying a Thai woman. I'm very happy. I am very happy with marrying a Thai woman. But there's people who say you shouldn't, and it's just comical the things they come up with. He had some argument with his wife, and it occurred to him, oh my God, if we got divorced, I would have to leave the country. Now, just a thing you should know about Thailand, most of you don't know this, maybe a lot of people in Thailand don't know this. It's not very hard to come back. You got to leave the country in 7 days, get on a plane, go to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, go to Vietnam, go to Japan, have a nice vacation in Japan, come back to Thailand. You can go for 1 day. You can even go same day, come back to the country. Oh, you'd like a tourist visa? It's not even a visa. It's like an exempt. You're like visa exempt. 60 days. Boom. You want to stay another 30 days? Go to the immigration office. Oh, here's another 30 days. I think it's $50 to stay another 30 days. And you could have a retirement visa. I'm on a destination Thailand visa. That's a 5-year visa. Cost me $400. I'm not changing to a spouse visa. I think I got the DTV, destination Thailand visa, after we got married. And there's an LTR visa, long-term resident visa. There's a ton of visas. Thailand is one of the friendliest places. If you're from a rich country, and even I think from Southeast Asian countries as well, a lot of countries, India, there's people here from everywhere. Unlike the United States and some other places, like if you want to come to Thailand. So the reason you shouldn't marry a Thai woman is because you might lose your spouse visa. That's just dumb. But it's going to be better to hear this other guy. It's like a longer clip. I think it's, I don't know, 7 minutes or something like that, of this guy riding his motorcycle and talking really dumb stuff. And let's hit that.
I'm going to say something that'll probably piss off half the expat community in Thailand, but someone needs to say it. I will never marry a Thai woman, not because I hate Thai women, not because I think they're all gold diggers, and definitely not because I can't get one. I've been proposed to 3 times by women.
Okay. The expat community is not angry. No one cares. You can say whatever you want. Why would people be angry at you for saying something that lots of people say? And you've been proposed to 3 times. Thai women propose to you? Okay, that's a little unusual. Asian women in general don't propose to men. I don't think Asian women usually propose to men. There's a couple other glitches in his video, like, really? Sort of like, yeah, I don't think that happened.
Who genuinely loved me, women who would have made decent wives by most standards. But I said no every time. And after 7 years in Thailand, watching hundreds of foreign men get married here, I'm more
7 years in Thailand watching hundreds of men get married here. No way. Just ask yourself. Thanks, Mark. Just ask yourself. Hundreds? How many people, wherever you are, wherever you've been for 7 years, how many people did you see get married? And just my understanding of the expat community, what I saw in the expat community is most of the men in the expat community don't want to get married. I don't think I know anyone. I've been here 18 months, ballpark. I don't think I know any other expat has gotten married in the 18 months I've been here. Hundreds? That's like 200 plus, right? Because hundreds is plural. So he's seen hundreds of men get married. No, I don't buy it. I just wanted to give you an idea right off the bat. 3 women proposed to him, and they were fine women, right? And no. MAGA Mike says my Thai wife is the best. 1 year with my Aussie wife was horrible. 15 years of life with Thai wife, excellent. Yeah, my criticisms here are not about specifically marrying Thai women. I mean, maybe a little bit somewhere in this video, we'll talk about that. But this guy's real problem is he just doesn't want to get married. It has nothing to do with Thailand. And there's some things he says that show he's either not honest with himself or he's not honest with us, and these are 2 examples. But let's keep going. This is entertaining.
every time. And after 7 years in Thailand, watching hundreds of foreign men get married here, I'm more convinced than ever that I made the right choice. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly why. And if you're thinking about marriage here, you need to hear this before you make a decision you can't undo, because what I'm about
Before you can make a decision you can't undo. The other guy just told us you can get a divorce. What do you mean make a decision you can't undo?
to share isn't theory, it's pattern recognition from living this life and watching what actually happens when the honeymoon phase ends. Let me start with something
I've seen this a lot. I shouldn't say I've seen this. I've seen this some. Men who've never been married, who have never had a true long-term relationship with the intent to potentially get married, are experts on marriage. It's hilarious. Be Nice says, unless you want to have children, getting married is not necessary. That's a fair point. I think that depends. I think traditional people want to get married anyway. My primary purpose in coming here was to find someone to have children with. And once I realized she was the one, I wanted to get married. I think that there can be valid reasons to get married without having children. We might not have children. I don't know. We're going to try. We're trying. I think if you fall in love, then I think getting married makes a lot of sense. I don't know.
nobody wants to admit. When you marry a Thai woman, you're not just marrying her, you're marrying her entire extended family's financial problems.
Okay, so this is I think this is a Thai thing. This may be true in other countries. It's a very common thing in Thailand. I think this is a similar criticism of the Philippines. And it's not really true. It's true in some cases, but it's not always true, right? First of all, are you marrying the oldest daughter? Are you marrying the third daughter? And like just in the Japan, for example, which you're never going to have financial issues in Japan because the Japanese family is wealthy and they don't expect their children to, on average, they're wealthy and they don't expect their children to fund them. But there is an expectation in a Japanese family that the oldest daughter will make sure that the parents are taken care of. And it is common in Thai culture for the children to look out for the parents, and daughters in particular to look out for the parents, including financially. So it is common that a Thai woman will get a job, probably live with her parents or her mom if they're divorced, which is common, or separated, whatever, and contribute to the household. It's also common that a Thai woman will have children, leave them with mom or grandma, go off somewhere else and work, often sex work, and then send money home. So a lot of Thai women, I this is not my experience. This is the thing that what he's talking about. He's playing in a different pool than the pool I played in, and that's a very common mistake that experts make. Is, well, this is what I saw from where I was, and I spent all this time around hookers, and I can tell you what life is like if you marry a hooker. Well, maybe if you tried dating non-hookers, you'd have a different experience. So there's sections of Thailand that are relatively wealthy, like Bangkok, and there's sections of Thailand that are relatively poor, like Isan, the Isan region on the eastern side of Thailand, the northeastern side of Thailand. Um, and the story is that if you go to Pattaya, which is one of the places that's known for sex tourism, and I want to be clear, 99.9% of Thailand is not about sex tourism. I'm not saying there isn't prostitution in places, but it's not about sex tourism. The vast, like where I live, it's not here. If you go 25 minutes, I actually still haven't figured out where the street is. Apparently, there's a street that's known for it. I've probably driven past it 10 times and haven't noticed it. So if your strategy for finding a wife or your dating strategy is it leads you to potentially finding a wife, and your dating strategy is, I'm going to go out to bars that are filled with foreigners, and there's all these women at these bars who are dressed really sexy, and they're very sweet, and they chat with you. And I don't know if you're dumb or not, but they're known as bar girls, and they're generally prostitutes. And in a lot of cases, these are young women, or were young women, who had a child or had a couple children, left them with mom, moved somewhere where she could make money in sex work, which I'm told you can make a fair amount of money by Thai standards, not necessarily by American standards, in sex work. And then you can send money home to your mom and you go visit your family a few times a year. If she's from a poor family, then her family's going to have greater needs, right? But if she's from a not so poor family, and I'm not saying a wealthy family, but even if she's from a generally working class family, I think this depends on what, how you're trying to find a wife, and how you found your wife. And look, there's a lot of men who this is not what I did. Okay, I did not go to bars and pick up girls in bars. I think that's like you go to, I should take a point here. I say that there's two Thailands. There is the real Thailand, which is where I spend most of my time. And my dividing line for this is, over the course of a regular day for me, I might see 5 foreigners. Over the course of an entire day. That's Thailand. I might not see any foreigners, but, somewhere in the ballpark of 5 foreigners or less over the course of a typical day. When I go to my gym, I might see 2 or 3 foreigners, right? Outside of that, I don't see a lot. If we go to like one of the big stores, sometimes maybe I'll see 1 or 2 foreigners. If you're looking around where you are in Thailand and you see 5 foreigners at one moment, or 20, you're in foreigner land. You're not in Thailand. So if you spend all your time in foreigner land and you spend all your time with foreigners, which it's pretty clear that's what he does, that's coming up later in the video, and then you go out with foreigners and you go to bars that are filled with girls who hang out in bars where foreigners are, you're picking a certain pool of women, and it's not necessarily the right pool of women. Maybe I'll make another video at some point of what my dating strategy was, and I think my approach was clearly different than that, and I'm ecstatically happy with the woman I found. We've been married for, it's coming up on a year, my love. It's 10 months. No, it's 9 months, almost 9 months. Coming up on 11 months. So she's sitting over there. They're probably highly entertained by this video. So let me keep going with his nonsense.
I learned this the hard way with my second girlfriend, Nim. Beautiful girl, genuinely sweet, loved me for real, not just my wallet. 6 months in, her father got sick. Nothing serious, but he needed treatment. 15,000 baht.
15,000 baht today is a little less than $500. Back when he's talking about it, probably was more like $400. And Okay, once in a while, a family member, like, I don't know, he doesn't really give the context of this. Um, I have never been asked to pay a family member's medical bill. Never been asked.
I paid it without thinking twice because I cared about her. 2 months later, her sister's motorcycle broke down. She needed it for work. 8,000 baht. Again,
You paid for her sister's motorcycle? Probably a scooter, by the way. 8,000 baht, that's, I don't know, 250 bucks. Really? That's on you, buddy. Why the hell did you pay that? I've never been asked to do that.
I helped. Then her grandmother's house needed repairs before rainy season. 25,000 baht.
Now we're like $750 and what? You're getting asked to pay. Did the warning bells go off at any point? What are you doing? Just say no. No, I'm not paying for that. Where's the problem here? The problem is you. The girl asks you for money and you give it to her, she's going to ask you for more. No. What would have happened if you said no?
Then her cousin needed help with university fees. 12,000 baht. I'm sitting there adding it up one day, and I realized I'd become
12,000 baht, maybe $400, a little less than $400.
the family ATM without even noticing.
Yeah, you think you should have figured that out a little earlier.
Not because Nim was scheming. She genuinely felt terrible asking every time.
Sure, she did. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, she didn't feel terrible asking every time. You kept saying yes. Why would she feel terrible?
But because in Thai culture, if you have money and family needs help, you help. Period. And here's the kicker. This wasn't even unusual financial pressure. This was just normal Thai family life.
See, this is my point. Like, maybe it is normal family life for. Well, what did she do when they had these problems and she didn't have a wealthy boyfriend? Do you think they called her and she came up with the money? And no, I don't think that's true. I can't say because my experience is limited. I really know one Thai family. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have friends who are Thai, and I don't get into their personal financial lives. But I can say my experience is this hasn't happened to me. I'm not saying I haven't spent money on my family, my wife's family. I have, but those are like decisions that I made without being asked. In fact, sometimes saying, "Hey, let's do this," and I spent money on stuff, and they're like, "What?" Because I thought this was the right thing for the family. But never been asked to send money to some family member over in wherever. Never came up.
Imagine what happens when there's a real crisis, like someone needs surgery or the rice farm fails. Now, multiply that expectation over 20, 30, 40 years of marriage, every family emergency, every business opportunity, every cousin's wedding, every grandparent's
Cousin's wedding? What are you talking about?
medical bill. It all becomes your responsibility.
No, it doesn't. How does she know how much money you have? I don't understand. I don't understand where this guy's coming from. If they ask you for money, then you already have a problem because if you say no often enough, they're probably going to stop asking. But this idea that every Thai family does it this way because I dated one girl who they did it this way, and there are definitely stories. Just to be clear, it is a very popular thing among expats to tell the stories about how stupid men typically married a bar girl, a prostitute, and she was she's so sweet. She's a really sweet girl. Um, and then all of a sudden she needs money for this and her family needs money for that. And then you bought her a house and then, yeah, I mean, those stories are there. but these guys never tell the stories about the happy. And I know the happily married. There's a MAGA Mike's in the comment. Um, yeah, there's plenty of happily married men, foreign men who marry Thai women, and life is great. And met a guy in Austria who married a Thai woman and brought her to Austria, and very happy. And um, the idea that like it can't work, or everything's going to happen this way because I had these limited experiences and therefore I'm an expert on everything. No.
Most foreign guys aren't mentally or financially prepared for that level of obligation.
How do you know what most foreign guys are ready for? And how do you know we aren't capable of saying no? Maybe the problem is that you can't say no.
And the resentment builds on both sides when reality hits.
MAGA Mike says, my wife's brother needed a motorbike to get to work. I offered to loan him 50,000 baht, which is, I don't know, $1,200 to buy a new reliable one, and he paid me back in 6 months. No, he doesn't, Mike doesn't say they asked him for the money. Mike says he offered. That's a very different thing. If you're in a good family, the right family, and you offer to help with something and they accept, it's great. I've offered sometimes and they've said no.
Here's something else nobody talks about. The language barrier doesn't just affect small talk.
Okay, I want to get to language barrier in a minute, but I just want to hit back on this point about he said most men can't. Now, I will say there's a stratification. Okay, if you are a working class stiff and you manage to save up 50,000 US dollars equivalent, $100,000 US equivalent, and you've got some kind of pension from your previous work, and you bring in about $3,000 a month, you can live pretty well in Thailand on $3,000 a month. It's 100,000 baht a month. I'm not saying you can live spectacularly, but I genuinely believe you can live okay in Thailand on $1,000 a month. That's tight. It's not that tight. But if you wanted to live on $1,000 a month in Thailand alone, you could do okay. $3,000 a month, you'd live reasonably well anywhere in Thailand. Phuket might be trickier because Phuket's more expensive, but even Bangkok, if you understand how to live in Bangkok, $3,000 a month, you're living pretty well. Once you add on a woman, or if you start, you can spend a lot of money on hookers if you want, or, massages or whatever. They literally have blowjob bars in Bangkok. Never went to one. I've read about them. You can spend a lot of money on that. But LA asks, do you have a video for someone interested in moving to Thailand or the Philippines? I am thinking about making a series of videos about moving to Thailand. It's the title of the series in my head is How to Thailand. I don't know enough about Philippines I don't know enough about Philippines to say a lot. I will say this. I think if you want to marry a woman and live in her country, which was my goal, not to say I couldn't bring her back, but my essential idea was to marry a woman and live in her country. And I was a little flexible on that. I thought about living in Japan with my current wife. I think Thailand's a great place for that. If you want to marry someone and bring her home, I think the Philippines is a great place for that. What I hear, and again, this is not like I've never been to the Philippines. What I hear is the quality of life in the Philippines is not very high. And I know the quality of life in Thailand is very high. So, the challenge in Philippines, English is common. So it's easier to find a wife in the Philippines because they speak English. It's a little harder to find a wife in Thailand because they don't speak English. My wife speaks English. So that helps. So I think that's an important thing. Okay. So let's go back to his video. Oh, he was talking about language.
It affects the deepest parts of your relationship. I speak decent Thai, not fluent, but conversational. And even with that, I constantly felt like I was missing emotional nuances that only native speakers would catch.
So my gut hunch is this guy misses emotional nuances in English. And frankly, I think I do too. I think most men feel that they miss emotional nuances in conversations with women, whether it's in English or whatever. I do think that it's helpful to learn the language, and I'm working on learning Thai, and my wife's English she doesn't agree with me, but her English is really good. and we're able to communicate. And sometimes we have misunderstandings, and that never happens in a same language relationship, right? Nobody ever has a misunderstanding, and nobody has disagreements about money in let's say American marriages. With when American marries an American, like what does it have to do with Thailand? All right, let's keep going. Wait, Pig says my brother-in-law married a woman he met in Thailand. They moved to the family farm where he was able to improve the quality of. See, this is what I'm talking about. Where he was able to improve the quality of life by having a new well drilled and the farm pond upgraded. If you are living with the family, not you take. I think there's a question: are you taking the woman away from her family, or are you keeping her with her family? Which we are living with my wife's family in a house I'm renting. If you are moving in with the family and you're spending time with the family, then you can see things that are genuinely needed. And before anybody asks you, you say, "Hey, let's do this. Can I pay for this? Can I set this up for you guys?" Right? And that's generally welcomed. Now you're taking on a leadership role in the family, and you're saying, "Here, we can make life better by doing this, this, and this." That's great, right? Um, I think that's an appropriate thing. If you are, and I'm going to be brutal, like guys like this, I don't know this guy, but guys like this, yeah, they have a girlfriend and they're banging 2 or 3 other girls on the side, and they're giving her money and they're giving these other girls money, and, or they're banging, 2 hookers a week while they have the girlfriend. I don't know. Mark says, I'm living on $1,000 a month in the US. That's tight, Mark. Never lend money to family nor friends. Give them money, but it's rare. Yeah, I think it. No, I do think that it makes sense in some contexts that you're giving money in appropriate ways, and you have to understand when it's culturally appropriate. And I'm not claiming I have a great grasp of Thai culture. I haven't been here that long.
Thai is a high context language. So much communication happens between the lines.
What language isn't high context? I mean, the reason humor, comedy, like if people don't know this, comedy movies never sell well in other countries. Action movies sell well in other countries because action translates across countries. Sports translate across countries, but comedy never works because comedy is based on context. And I think I actually made a joke a week or two ago in Thai and it actually worked, but it's like we don't have the cultural context to make jokes. Every language is high context. What do you talk? What's a low context language? French? What are you talking about?
Through tone, through what's not said. When you're arguing about something important, money, family, future plans, and you're both speaking your second language, you're not really understanding each other. I remember having a fight with Ploy, my third girlfriend.
My wife's name is Ploy. I watched this video with my wife. And one of my friends is like, "You watched that with your wife? You can't watch that video with your wife. We're not supposed to understand each other? Is that your theory, that you're supposed to marry somebody and not understand each other and not talk about the relationship and not make sure you understand how things work?"
About her wanting to buy a car. In English, she said she needed it for work, but I could tell from her Thai friends' reactions that the word she used in Thai carried a different weight, more like strongly desired than required. These mistranslations happen constantly.
What? I mean, first of all, if she needed a car for work and she has a job, she can borrow money to buy the car. What does that have to do with you? Why does she need a car for work? Does she need a car to drive to work? Or does she need a car to drive during work? Why isn't the job providing her with a car? What kind of job does she have?
And over years of marriage, they compound. You think you're having one conversation, she thinks you're having another, and both of you get frustrated because the other person doesn't understand.
So I'm going here with this guy doesn't really make an effort to understand. He's not making an effort to understand each other. He's probably struggles to develop understanding. Zoltan says, "Have you met Bjorn Nyland in Thailand?" No, I actually don't even know where he is in Thailand. I've heard his name. I haven't really watched many of his videos. I think he's a Tesla guy or EV guy or something like that. And I know the name. If you want to send a message to him and say Warren's in Krabi, Krabi, and he wants to meet up, I'd be happy to meet up with him. Just met up with Tom Nash. If you follow me on X, I just met up with Tom Nash, who's another YouTuber who happened to be in Krabi. I think he finally left, but he was in Krabi for a few days. I do like to meet up with people. If you're in town, if you're coming to Krabi, hey, Warren, let's get together. We can usually meet for coffee or lunch or something.
I watched my neighbor, Dave, struggle with this for 3 years before his marriage fell apart.
You lived in the same place for 3 years? Where was this neighborhood? These stories don't always fit.
They loved each other, but they could never quite connect on the deeper emotional level because the language barrier created this permanent layer of separation.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I'm trying to learn Thai. I'm not doing as well as I'd like to be. And I'm not studying as hard as I should be and as often as I should be, but I'm trying to learn Thai and I'm picking it up. One of my friends is criticizing me that I haven't learned faster, but I'm doing okay. And I'm learning more and I'm learning more and I'm learning more. And I help my wife understand English. Like, did you choose to marry a woman there's lots of Thai women who speak English. Did you deliberately look for a woman who doesn't speak English? And then what did you expect? And did you marry someone in the ballpark of your intellectual level? Like, because if you went for a bar girl, does she have a high school diploma? Does she have a college degree? My wife has a master's degree, bachelor's in computer science, which I think is like super cool. And she was motivated to learn English. She speaks some German. We go to Japan. She's picking up Japanese. If you marry someone on the same intellectual level, you're going to understand each other better. If you choose to marry someone who didn't graduate from high school and spent the last 3 years working as a prostitute, you might not be on the same intellectual level. Although with this guy, I don't know. Maybe he's dating women who are smarter than him. MAGA Mike says part of Thai culture is loans are often considered more like a gift. This is quite important to understand. Best to say you don't have any money if someone asks for a loan or treat a loan as a gift. Yeah, nobody's asked me for a loan. Nobody's asked me for a gift. The Mark says this guy will have a problem no matter where he lives. Exactly. Like, well, why are you even here? He doesn't say why he's in Thailand. I don't know his story. I didn't look through his channel to see, like, because a lot of Western men come to Thailand for the women, which I can say I think it's a pretty good reason to come if you are looking to find if you want a date. For me, dating in America was absolute hell. A lot of men say that dating in America is absolute hell. It's better here. Supposedly better in the Philippines, Laos, Cambodia. I've heard Colombia can be good. Ukraine used to be good, supposedly. Apparently not as great right now for some reason. I'm sorry for laughing. So there are places in the world that are better places to date than your home country. And Thailand has a lot going for it. This is a great country. This is not perfect. I'm not saying there aren't flaws, but some of the foreign motorcyclists are bad drivers and really annoying.
And don't get me started on trying to explain Western concepts like personal space or independence to someone whose entire worldview is built around interdependence and collective responsibility.
So I haven't noticed this in Thai culture the same way. I know this is a big issue in Japanese culture, and I see it a little bit in Thai culture. I think it's probably common in Asian culture that a really good example is children sleep with their mom. I have a friend in Japan. Children sleeping with the mom, and he actually sleeps in another bed. Amaeru in Japanese. There's a culture of dependence. The children are supposed to be dependent on mom, dependent on the parents. Any country you go to is going to have different cultural issues from your own country. And even within America, if you're American, I don't know where this guy's from. I can't tell from his accent. But if you're American, like different parts of the country have different cultures. If you're Jewish and you marry a Catholic, if you're Protestant and you marry a Catholic, if you're Unitarian and you marry an evangelical Christian, like there's all kinds of cultures. You marry a black person and you're white, or you marry a Latina. There's all kinds of culture. This is not specific to Thailand. Of course, there are different cultural issues anywhere you go. And if you're going to be here for 7 years, you probably should learn to understand the culture. And I'm not claiming I have a real solid grasp on Thai culture yet. I don't think I do. I'm still learning. But I would say if you're thinking about marrying someone, do you have shared goals? Do you have a general understanding of what life's going to be like together? For me, like I was dating and I dated a lot. And then I think it was every date got better. Every time, the more time we spent together, the better it got. At a certain point, it was like, okay, I'm in. I know what I want. This is it, right? And if you don't have that moment, well, that's different. But if you do have that moment, you say no because you've got some bizarre ideas about cultural conflict or language issues, or oh, they might ask me for money. Well, that's kind of on you.
The real killer isn't money or language, it's expectations. Most Thai women who marry foreigners have a very specific vision of what that life will look like. And most foreign men have a completely different vision. She's thinking stability, security, taking care of family, building something together in Thailand.
That is exactly what I'm doing. Security. Wait, you don't want security, stability, family, and building something together? What kind of relationship are you looking for in life? You don't want to build something together? What do you have in mind? That it's mind blowing to me that a guy's talking about don't get married because the woman is going to want security, stability, family, and building something together. What do you think marriage is? That is what marriage is. You're building something together. It's like this is you, buddy. You don't know what marriage is about. What did your parents do? I always, when I hear people saying, well, I don't want to get married because, and it's like, well, why did your parents get married? Why did your grandparents get married? What were their expectations? Why are you smarter than them? We're all here. There's this, question. Why are we here? It's related to the concept of what's the meaning of life. The reason we're here is because every one of our ancestors found someone to have children with and had children and raised them. Because if any one of your ancestors had not done that, you wouldn't be here. So the reason we're here is to have children. Now, if you can't have children, I totally respect that. If you have some sort of mental health issue that makes you think you can't, but it gives life. I have 2 adult children, for those who don't know. It gives life so much meaning. The minute the first baby, even before they're born, everything of your life changes. It's all about the children, and and your life. All the stuff you used to think was important just becomes trivial because you realize how important children are. And if you don't figure that out, then maybe you have another problem.
Maybe having kids who grow up bilingual and bicultural. He's thinking adventure, youth, escape from Western relationship drama, someone who appreciates him, maybe escape from Western relationship drama. Different vision. She's thinking stability, security, taking care of family, building something together in Thailand, maybe having kids who grow up bilingual and bicultural. He's thinking adventure, youth, escape from Western relationship drama, someone who appreciates him, maybe traveling the world together. These aren't necessarily incompatible.
Those are like, why, if the things he listed have nothing to do with getting married? It's not that you shouldn't marry a Thai woman because she's a Thai woman. It's you shouldn't marry anyone because you're a fucking child. Like, what are you talking about? Look, those goals are fine. If those are your goals, then you find a woman who wants to go travel the world. And some Thai women do like traveling the world. My wife loves to travel. If I said to her, hey, I want to travel the world, let's go travel the world. But I know that she cares about her family. I know that she's constantly checking in on her family. They care about their family. Now think about this for a second. Seriously, think about this for a second. You want to find a woman who doesn't care about her family. That's a woman I don't want to marry. A woman who doesn't care about her family, you want that woman? A woman who doesn't, because what's going to happen when you get sick? Right? What's going to happen when you need help? If she doesn't care about her family, is she going to care about you? She's magically going to care about you when you picked someone who doesn't care about her family? But if you want to go on a fling and you want to go travel the world with someone, I'm pretty sure you can find. I don't know about in America, but there's a lot of countries in the world where if you start going on a few dates with them and say, hey, let's go to Japan. Hey, let's go to Vietnam. Hey, let's go to countries where she's allowed to travel, because let's say in Thailand, their ability to travel is much more limited. Um, they usually like that. You want to take a woman go traveling, she's not going to expect you to marry her to just go take her traveling. She's going to have fun on the trip, right? But you don't want commitment. You don't want to build something together. You don't want children, and you want to go travel the world. And like, what Thai woman cares that you're trying to escape Western relationship drama? And you're just describing all the problems of Thai relationship drama. So maybe what you're not aware of is relationships have drama. It's built in. I think what he's saying is he wants a fuck toy, and that's it. Like, okay, and you can get that here. You just usually pay for it.
But they require serious discussion and compromise. And most couples don't have those conversations until it's too late.
Most couples don't have serious conversations until it's too late. Back to the chat here. No longer true to come and go in a day. No, many have been turned away for trying to live there. Turned away for trying to live where? Asian women asked him. No, you can definitely. It is true that most people from wealthy countries can leave Thailand, and I've done it multiple times before I got the visa that I'm on, can leave Thailand. And, I typically go for a weekend or something. Sometimes it was a week or two. But I've done like 3 days and come back. No problem. I have a friend. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but when I talked to him, it was more than a year ago. He had done it for 7 years. So it's not guaranteed. If you do it long enough and you hit the wrong border immigration officer, they might say no. But it does happen that people get turned away, but not much. Asian women asked to marry frequently, constantly, not a proposal, but they tell the man they want to be married. Okay. I haven't, honestly, I haven't heard that. I've talked to a lot of expats. I never heard somebody say that. Andrew Tate is better at marriage than the guy in the video. Yeah, he probably is. Men who want to marry move to the Philippines. Thailand isn't the place to go in South Asia to marry as an expat. If you want to find a wife who speaks English and who is eager to move to your country, then the Philippines is better. If you want to live in the place where your wife is from, Thailand is a great place. I have no idea why you think it isn't a good place to marry as an expat. I don't know what you're talking about. Charles says, don't marry any woman ever. Okay, so you're with this guy. Some cases, such as oldest daughter, guys who go after girls way too good for them usually don't realize they're chasing women who need money for their family or kids. Okay, I think Jolly Man is watching at 1.5 speed or something to catch up.
I know, because I've had this conversation with dozens of married expats. The pattern is always the same.
Dozens of. Who is this guy? Like, all right, 7 years. Okay, I got it. But I spent a fair amount of time in Sukhumvit, which is one of the very popular expat areas. I went to a bunch of foreign. Like, I didn't meet many. Like, that the expats who get married are not out hanging out with guys like this. Like, so let me be clear about this. He's assuming he's got a correct pool. He's got the right pool of like, his pool is the pool that he meets is representative. Dozens. He's talked to dozens of foreigners married to Thai women, and they've all explained their problems to him. Dozens like 36. Really? Like, that many guys are telling you about their marital problems? Are you a social worker, psychologist, or something? Where's the? Because I'll go to like an event where there's a bunch of foreigners and we shoot the shit about all kinds of things, but I don't think I have had a single guy tell me about his marriage. I'm like scratching my head, like, and I've got friends who are married. I got 2 or 3 friends who are married. I don't know. The ones I meet, they're happy. I'm like scratching my head, like, what is he talking about? Can you see how long you've been subscribed to a YouTube channel? I don't know that.
Year 1 to 2. Everything's amazing. Cultural differences seem charming. Year 3 to 4. Reality sets in. The differences start causing friction.
So to be clear, I'm in year one. We've been dating for longer than that, but I'm in year one of the marriage. Year one is coming up soon. So I suppose it's possible, but like, how is any of this not different? How is any of this different from when you marry a woman from the same country or the woman from a different country that's not Thailand? Like, yeah, you know, when you first marry, the first year's spectacular, and then the longer the marriage goes, problems come up. Some people have struggled early in the marriage. What does that have to do with that's not a Thai specific thing. Like, yeah, you know, sometimes the thrill wears off and you realize, oh, who did I marry? That's not Thailand specific.
Year 5 plus. Either they figured out how to bridge the gap or they're stuck in a marriage that satisfies neither person. The successful ones, and there are some, put in enormous effort to understand each other's worlds. They learn each other's
Of course, you put enormous effort into understanding each other. What are these guys doing? It sounds like a lot of the men he's talking to don't put effort into their relationships with the woman they married. Okay, I think we discovered the problem. Right? The problem is you didn't put the work in to make the marriage work. And that's true anywhere in the world. If you marry someone and you don't put effort into the relationship, it's probably not going to work out. Not all women want to get married. Getting remarried before 60 can drastically change your social security benefits, FYI. Doesn't really apply in Thailand, by the way.
languages fluently. They spend time with both families. They have long, difficult conversations about money, children, career goals, and what success means to each of them. But
Oh, we talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, uh, we just leased a new building for my wife to run a cafe. She loves cafes, so she's going to run a cafe, and we're going to have a space upstairs. I love co-working spaces, and for those who follow me long enough know, I'm hoping I'll be able to hire some young engineers to help build Podcar, and the co-working space is the perfect place for it. We've talked about all this stuff. We talk about family. You know, there's a lot of conversations to figure out what's the right setting for us as a family. And then I made decisions about where we should live and, you know, what kind of setup we should have when we live somewhere. Guys can always find themselves guys can also find themselves always with bar girls, never going to a bar, bad online dating choices, always picking sexiest young women, always marry a Thai woman. I think Daniel's being funny there.
honestly, most don't do this work. They just hope love will be enough. And love is never enough when your fundamental assumptions about life are different.
Love is never enough. Like, you don't marry someone just because you're in love. You marry someone because you've identified this is the right person for me, and I'm the right person for them. I this guy's an emotional child.
Here's something really dark that nobody warns you about. Once you're married, you're trapped in ways you didn't expect. If you're married to a Thai woman and living in Thailand, leaving becomes incredibly complicated.
No, it doesn't.
Not just emotionally, legally, and financially. Your visa status is tied to your marriage.
This is the same dumb thing the other guy said. Yeah, if you get a spouse visa, then your visa status is tied to your marriage. There's lots of other visas. Why would you get a spouse visa? I looked into it. It was better than the retirement visa, but not that much better. And the destination, there's so many different visas. Like, once you're on a destination Thailand visa, why would you get a spouse visa? What is he talking about? I don't understand why these guys talk about that. This is not rocket science. There's actually Thai Immigration Services. Mark Friedman is a guy there. They have a YouTube channel, BAANTHAI, and there's videos about this. There's people make videos about Thai visa status, and I was talking to him about my that status, and I ended up talking to him. Talk to an expert. Hire somebody. You're spending 25,000 baht on your grandmother, your girlfriend's grandmother's house. Maybe you could spend 15,000 baht and hiring a lawyer to talk about things. $500.
Your assets might be in her name because of foreign ownership laws. Your social
So, in general, you can have most assets in your name. You can buy a condo in your name. The one exception is what's called landed property in general. I think there are exceptions to this, and I never researched it that great. But if you buy a house, you would buy it in your wife's name. That's just so you understand how that works. But you can buy a car in your name. You can. I'm not sure what assets he's saying that you have to buy in your spouse's name. But if you're going to buy land and build a house, let's say, or you're going to buy a house on land, I think there's exceptions, especially in Koh Samui, KOHSAMUI, Koh Samui. There may be some exceptions there. There may be some other exceptions, but in general, yeah. If you buy, but outside of the house, like what assets is he talking about? I don't even know what assets he's talking about.
and financially. Your visa status is tied to your marriage. Your assets might be in her name because of foreign ownership laws. Your social circle is probably mostly her friends and family. If the
What are you talking about? You just described how you know all these expats. I don't know. I mean, your social circle. You're tied into your social circle? You can't leave because of your social circle in a foreign country?
marriage goes bad, you can't just pack up and leave like you could when you were single.
Yeah, actually, you can. You totally can. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but you can 100% pack up and go. I'm not sure. What are you talking about? Of course, you could just pack up and go.
Financially entangled, legally complicated, and socially isolated from other options.
What is this legal complication he's talking? I don't even know what the legal complication he's talking about is. What legal complication?
Seen guys stay in dead marriages for years because untangling everything seemed impossible.
Okay, so when you get married in Thailand, don't entangle yourself. If you're worried about this stuff, don't entangle yourself financially with your wife. Well, I don't even understand what he means by entangled. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you're like me, let's say you're effectively retired and you have an account in your home country, and you come to Thailand and you find a wife, and my money's in America, right? I bring some money over occasionally, and you know, I don't understand the entanglement.
And I've seen guys lose everything, house, business, savings, in divorce proceedings because they never understood how Thai family law actually works.
Business? What? I think there are examples where like a guy will marry a Thai woman and they'll open a bar together. And yeah, the bar is gonna be in her name. We're opening a cafe. It's gonna be in my wife's name. That's not really a significant financial entanglement. I don't know what these guys are doing, what kind of businesses they're opening. And I'm pretty confident that you can get a visa to open a business that it depends on the context, but I don't think there's anything stopping you from getting a business visa and opening a business in your name. I'm not aware of that being a problem. It's a startup visa program. There's a bunch of stuff there. So that might be just laziness. Is if you want to start up a business for yourself, then you start up a business for yourself. The cafe we're starting up is my wife's business. I get to play there, but it's her business.
When you're single, you have complete freedom to change your situation if it's not working. When you're married, especially in a foreign country, that freedom disappears. And most guys don't realize how much they valued that freedom until it's gone.
I just don't understand what he's talking about that like if your marriage doesn't work out, She doesn't want to be with you. You don't want to be with her. You walk away. You might, maybe you paid for the house and then you walk away and you don't get anything of the house and you lose that money. If you're worried about that, don't buy a house. Renting makes perfect sense. It doesn't actually, like, we're living in a house right now. We're moving to another house. In both cases, we're paying 50,000 baht, which is about $500 a month. No, $1,500 a month. Sorry. The house we're moving to was listed for like, I don't know, 8 million baht. I don't know how many years it would take to pay that. 50,000, 600,000. Be like, I don't know, 12 years plus to buy the house. No, more than 12 years to just rent. If you're worried about that, like, it's not like your wife's going to say, "Hey, how come we're not buying a house?" Because renting's cheap. Like, you can rent a nice house. You don't need to buy a house. I know this spot in Chumpon, the north side of Chumpon, Chumphon, Tung Walen Beach. What's the name of that? I can't remember the name of the hotel, but like 3-minute walk from the beach. You can rent a 3-bedroom house for 13,000 baht, which is about $400 a month. Includes maid service once a week. Nice beach. You need to buy a house? I don't know. It might make sense to buy a house. We might buy or build a house at some point. We looked at that. But you don't have to buy a house if you're worried about it. What if you get married and you value her and you want her to be taken care of in the event that it doesn't work out? You feel like, hey, she committed a lot to me. She put a lot of time into this relationship. And, if we separate, I want her to have something. House would be a good thing for her to have. Oh, but you don't really want her to have anything because you don't value her in your relationship, right? This is a very common problem with men. My wife got a lot when I got divorced. My wife got a lot. She earned it. Great wife for 20 plus years. Still a great mom. Still friends. If you think money's more important than the relationship, then there's something wrong with you. I'm not saying you should be stupid with money. But if you're so obsessed with money that you care about it more than relationship, then that's on you.
Let me tell you what I've observed about foreign men before and after marriage in Thailand. Before marriage, confident, social, pursuing hobbies and friendships, growing as a person, genuinely happy. After marriage, increasingly isolated from other expats, spending most
Increasingly isolated from other expats. First of all, I'm largely isolated from other expats because I choose to be isolated from other expats because I married my wife because I want to spend time with her and I like her family. But, we go out to the gym and there might be an expat there. I might talk to him. Charles, he's French. I talk to him once in a while. Happy Frank says, if you want a house in your name, you make a company, rent some layers to be sleeping partners, buy the house in the company name and rent from your company. Yep. The Kamchatka quake has not affected us at all, but I think Thailand is nowhere near where that would have an effect. Happy Farang he knows Thailand way better than I do. You can maximum own 49% of a company as a foreigner here, but again, sleeping partners. I think he means partners who are quiet. I think under the startup visa, you can start up a company and you can 100% own the company. Under this, I'd have to look it up again. This was when I looked at it a while ago. Scooter guy is definitely not relationship worthy. Exactly. B says divorce laws are set by the state, United States, not the wife. Yeah, well, and if you don't live in Thailand, if you're like a native of another country and you leave, I'm not sure how much impact Thai divorce laws are going to have on you. But he never gets specific about what the legal issues are, and I've never actually heard of a legal problem. Unless if you need to get a divorce and she won't agree to a divorce, well, that might be an issue. But again, that's true anywhere.
social time with Thai family members they can barely communicate with, stressed about money, and gradually losing the sense of adventure that brought them to Thailand in the
Stressed about money. What are you doing? It's hard to be stressed about money here. Like I said, if you came to Thailand with 50 grand in the bank and you got $2,500 a month pension, yeah, you got to be careful. If you came to Thailand with 2 million in the bank and you're pulling $10,000 a month in a pension, then you got to work really hard to be stressed about money here. I mean, When we have an expensive meal, it's usually $15 eating out. 20 maybe. That's like pushing it to get to 20. I can do more. I can find places where I can spend more. A lot of times we spend less than $10 on a meal for two. What do we pay at the Kwai Tiao place? What do we ploy when we go to Kwai Tiao? Kwai Tiao, we pay like 300 baht or less. No, maybe even 200 baht, right? You can spend $6. For two people. Hey, you got to work to stress about money in Thailand. Unless if you start without having a lot of money, then yeah. Prenup and a will. I don't think prenups are relevant in Thailand.
First place. It's not universal, but it's common enough to be a pattern. Marriage changes the power dynamic. When you're dating, you're both choosing each other every day. When you're married, there's an assumption of permanence that can make people stop trying as hard.
Well, it should be an assumption of permanence, and why would that make you from stop trying? Why would the assumption of permanence make you stop trying? That's a character issue for you, not me.
And in Thai culture, marriage comes with very specific role expectations. The husband provides, the wife manages the household and family relationships. If you're not comfortable with traditional gender roles, this can create constant tension.
Yeah, that's the typical Western man's complaint is typical as gender roles. What are you talking about? How many Western men look, if you're coming to Thailand and you're wealthy, and just to be clear, the Thai income per capita is 1/10. I think it's less than 1/10 the US. Obviously, you're gonna be the provider. Unless you're, not you don't have much money, right? If you came in without a lot, okay, there's an issue. But the Thai minimum wage is $10 a day. Lots of people in Thailand, a university graduate, engineering graduate, will maybe make, what was it, $800 a month? Maybe $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month's a stretch for a university engineering graduate, like a good university engineering graduate. $1,000 a month. Yeah, you're going to be the provider, and yeah, there's going to be gender. Like, did you want to? Like, he complained about Western relationship, dating relationship drama in the West. Well, that's a lot of that is driven by gender roles. The gender roles in Thai relationships that he described are relatively normal.
I've seen foreign guys who are perfectly happy with independent, career-focused Thai girlfriends suddenly find themselves married to women who expect to quit their jobs and focus on family. And I've seen Thai women frustrated with foreign husbands who don't understand their obligations to extended family.
Look, the Thai career woman is making $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month. And if you've got $1 million in the bank and you've got $5,000 a month coming in, why is she working? Do you want her working? Like, it doesn't, like, I don't understand why you want her working. Look, if you're a broke dude who can only afford a scooter and you go out dating Thai women acting like you have a lot of money and you spend some money on her at a bar and you buy her a couple of beers, and then it turns out you don't really have as much money as you pretended to have. Yeah, that might cause some problems in the relationship. Yeah. But yeah, that of course that's an expectation. You go to the Philippines, they're even poorer than Thailand. Yes, you're expected to provide. You're not expected to over provide, but you're expected to be the provider. And I'm like baffled that you would want your wife. I I can understand like you might encourage your wife to work if she wants to work, but you're demanding that your wife have a job when it's like her income's irrelevant to your financial situation. Why would you do that?
Relationship that worked when you were dating can become completely different once you're married. And by then, it's much harder to change course. Now, I'm not saying Thai foreign marriages never work. I know couples who've been happily married for 10, 15, even 20 years.
How many people does this guy know? He knows over 200 foreign men who've gotten married in Thailand in a 7-year span. He knows men who've been married 10, 15, 20 years. He knows like tons of men who've had marriage problems. What does this guy do all day? Does he just like go out and chase down foreigners and say, "Hey, tell me about your marriage"? Like, I'm way too busy with life to like go out and find Americans who married women. Oh, I have another friend who's married to a Thai woman. Um, I have I don't ask him, "Hey, tell me about how you're married." Like, there's a couple that we see at the gym. I've never asked him, "How's your marriage going?" He's never talked to me about how his marriage going. I met a guy the other day, uh, and I guess he's there with his kids, and I don't know what happened to the woman that he had kids with. I didn't ask him about it. He didn't volunteer it. Like, I don't understand how he gets in all these conversations with all these guys. And then these guys want to talk about it? Really? Like, I feel like this guy is dramatically overstating his knowledge of what goes on in other people's lives, and it's comical to me.
But look at what they had to do to make it work. Tom and Ratana. He spent 2 years becoming fluent in Thai before proposing. She spent a year living in Australia to understand Western culture. They dated for 4 years, lived together for two, and had multiple conversations with both families about expectations before getting married.
Well, okay, if they spent 6 years together, I waited. What did I propose in 8 months? No, 6 months. Like I knew. I suppose you could spend 6 years together and then figure it out. But yeah, you put a lot of time in before the marriage and get to know each other. Like, those are good signs. That's a good sign for a good relationship.
Jim and Siriporn. They started a business together before marriage so they could see how they handled money and stress as a team. They agreed on a specific budget for family support and stuck to it. They alternate years between Thailand and Canada so she can maintain her career and he can stay connected to his culture. Mark and Warren.
Stay connected to his culture? How hard is it to stay connected to Canadian culture? What does that even mean? I don't know. He just talked about you want to travel. Like, living in Thailand is an adventure. Just living here is an adventure. It's fantastic. I mean, you pick up something different about Thailand every day. You pick up a piece of language. You pick up a piece of, oh, that's how that works. Oh, that's this interesting thing. And, at least where I live, the spectacular coastline, the spectacular mountains of Krabi. Dating in Vietnam is very hard, Jolly Man says. Let's go to the chat for a second. No Philippines career woman won't quit for a foreigner seldom. They know you might leave them. I'll take your word for that. I mean, I think if you date and you have a good relationship, she might. Bear says Thailand sounds pretty good, and Farang says Bear. And happy Farang, by the way, means happy foreigner, and usually Farang actually specifically means European or white man. It's not for everyone, but if it's for you, it's the best. Life is different, but great here. Been here 26 years, not leaving. Yeah, I mean, Thailand is great. The cost of living is low. The quality of life is high. It's a little surprising when you get here that the Thai food is not what you thought. Like, if you go to a Thai restaurant in America, I can't speak to other countries, but America and probably Thailand, and they have chicken satay on the appetizers, and then they have Penang curry and massaman curry and pad thai, and then you're living here and you go to a restaurant and you don't see any of those on a menu. Like, I have never seen chicken satay on a menu in any restaurant in Thailand. Never. Pad thai is rare. I mean, you can find it. I don't know if I've ever seen it in a regular restaurant. Maybe I've seen it in a regular restaurant. It's unusual to see in restaurants. Curry dishes are unusual and they're different than what curry dishes are really soups. It's just so different. So there's so many things that are different than what you expect, but I would definitely say come for a visit. Spend at least a week here in one place. If you come and travel and you stay in one hotel for 2 nights and another hotel for 2 nights and another hotel for 3 nights, then you're not really seeing the real Thailand. And I would get an Airbnb somewhere and go to a grocery store and cook yourself a couple of meals or make yourself a couple of bowls of cereal or whatever in the morning, and try to go to the real Thailand and not stay too much time in foreigner land, because those are two different Thailands. Life in foreigner land is more expensive, and it's not the genuine life of Thailand. It's hard to be in real Thailand at the beginning unless you've learned Thai before you come, because you probably want to start in foreigner land and dip your toe in non-foreigner land and gradually work your way and decide, and some people love living in foreigner land and some people love living in Thailand, what I call Thailand. Buff Batman says, Mark says, with the big age gap, you might die on them. That's a risk. I mean, I made the decision 4 years ago that I was going to go to the gym every day and eat healthy and do everything I can to get in better shape so I live longer for my future wife, who is now my current wife, and for my children that we're hoping to have soon. What about Vietnam, Warren? It's my understanding that the Vietnamese generally love Americans. Jolly Man says dating in Vietnam is very hard. We went to Vietnam for 3 days. I wasn't there long enough. My sense is that there is an active dating scene where foreigners can date Vietnamese women, and it works for some people, but I don't know enough about Vietnam. And Mark says Vietnam has bad visa laws. I don't know. I think most of these countries you can find a way to make it work. Maple syrup infusions? What did I miss? Maple syrup infusions is the Canadian culture.
They went to couples counseling in both languages to make sure they could communicate about difficult topics. They wrote out their expectations for marriage, children, money, and family obligations before the wedding. These couples didn't just fall in love and hope for the best. They treated marriage like a business partnership and did the hard work to make sure they were compatible on every level.
So to be clear, I didn't do a lot of the stuff he's talking about. What I did was I had in mind, based on some experience, things that I wanted to do to help evaluate whether this is the right person for me. And every step along the way, she became more beautiful and more wonderful and spectacular. And there were these moments, especially, he talks about family like the wife's family is a problem. And every time I saw her with her family, it got better because I saw how much she cares about her family. And it's like, well, don't you want to marry someone who cares about her family? And there's these moments, especially when I saw her with her nieces, how caring she is of her nieces. Well, if you want to have kids with somebody, then someone who's good with children is probably a good thing. And someone who cares about her father. I'm older than her, I'm not as old as her father, but the fact that she cares about her father as much as she does, probably a good sign. Cares about her mother.
Most people don't do this. They get caught up in the romance and assume love will solve problems that love can't actually solve. So
I would just say this, like, my attitude is, because I didn't do all this homework and we didn't write things up, and I felt like we established over the period of time before we got married that we had unified goals, that we got along together, that she's a very caring person, and I understand that I have to make sacrifices or compromises. I don't know. Nothing feels like a sacrifice, but I have to change the way I live my life in order to make it work. And I'm very flexible in that way. I've made a lot of changes, and I'm happy with everything. I'm trying to think if there's something I'm not happy about, and I'm not thinking of it. I mean, do I have little irritations with little things somewhere that probably, but things are great.
why don't I get married? Simple. I found something better. I have deep, meaningful relationships with Thai women without the legal, financial, and cultural complications that come with marriage.
Deep meaning. He's having sex with Thai women. Deep, meaningful relationships. What's the meaning?
I can support my girlfriend's family when I choose to, not because I'm obligated to. I can leave if the relationship becomes unhealthy, and so can she. I'm not anti-commitment. I'm pro-conscious choice.
I'm not anti-commitment, but I want to be able to leave if it becomes difficult. Yeah, you are anti-commitment. You're exactly anti-commitment. You're 100% anti-commitment. I'm not anti-commitment. I just don't want to commit.
Every day I'm with someone, it's because we both actively choose to be together. Not because we signed a contract, not because society expects it, not because leaving would be complicated. That mutual choice keeps the relationship alive in ways that legal obligation never could. And practically speaking, I can focus my energy on building my business, pursuing my interests,
Building your business? Is your business riding around on a scooter talking?
and maintaining friendships instead of navigating complex family dynamics and cultural expectations that I'll never fully understand.
Maintaining friendships. This guy has hundreds of friendships. How much time is he spending maintaining these friendships? And by the way, if you're driving around this rural area, there's not a lot of foreigners living in. If you look at this place, there's not a lot of expats living around this area. This does not look like Bangkok. I don't know where he is, but I'm not seeing foreigners tend to live in places that are the concentrations of expats are in densely populated places like Bangkok and Pattaya and Hua Hin and Phuket. There's some here. Chiang Mai. Outside of those major centers, I'm struggling to think of another one that has a lot of foreigners living there. So how are you meeting all these people and you're maintaining like hundreds of friendships instead of like developing relationships with your girlfriend's family and maybe marrying her and developing real like you have meaningful friendships with hundreds of people at the same time?
I'm not saying this is the right choice for everyone, but for me, the freedom to choose my level of involvement in every aspect of the relationship
I'm not anti-commitment. I just want the freedom to choose my level of involvement in every aspect of the relationship.
has led to much healthier, more honest connections. Here's what I've learned after 7 years and multiple serious relationships in Thailand. Love isn't enough. Attraction isn't enough. Even genuine compatibility isn't enough if you're operating from completely different frameworks about what marriage means. Most foreign men fall in love with the idea of being with a Thai woman, the femininity, the respect, the escape from Western dating culture, but they don't fall in love with the reality of Thai family culture, Buddhist philosophy, or the economic expectations that come with marrying into Thai society.
You can see like what he just said. Let me play that again.
Most foreign men fall in love with the idea of being with a Thai woman, the femininity, the respect, the escape from Western dating culture, but they don't fall in love with the reality of Thai family culture, Buddhist philosophy, or the economic expectations that come with marrying into Thai society. And most Thai women fall in love with the security.
He never mentioned falling in love with her. He never falling in most foreign men fall in love with all these things, but not the woman. Okay, if you didn't fall in love with the women, but you fell in love with the idea of marrying a Thai woman, but not this particular Thai woman, you have a problem. And if you marry a woman, you're marrying her family whether you're in Thailand or not. Unless she doesn't have a family. Like if she stays away from her family and doesn't like her family, then you're not marrying her family, but then if she doesn't get along with her family, is that her family or is that her? It might be her family and maybe she's healthy, but not a good sign.
And status that comes with marrying a foreigner, but they don't come with marrying the respect, the escape from Western dating culture, but they don't fall in love with the reality of Thai family culture, Buddhist philosophy, or the economic expectations that come with marrying into Thai society.
Buddhist culture. I don't know. My wife likes stopping at temples and she prays for I think she prays. She does this and she, spends 5 minutes at a temple. I think the temples are really cool. Like, what's the Buddhist culture part I'm missing? Like, I haven't figured out the Buddhist culture problem.
And most Thai women fall in love with the security and status that comes with marrying a foreigner, but they don't necessarily fall in love with Western individualism, direct communication styles, or the emotional distance from family that many foreign men expect.
Again, she doesn't fall in love with the man. She falls in love with these ideas. I think we've discovered part of the problem there. And she doesn't fall in love with Western individualism and, these other things that you fall in love. If you don't fall in love with each other, then you have a problem. If you're marrying someone because you like the idea of being married to a Thai woman, but you don't particularly like the Thai woman you're marrying, it's just like incredibly dumb. And a friend of mine told me about this video, said a lot of people watched it. I'm like, there's a lot of bad advice out there.
When the initial excitement wears off, you're left with two people who love each other but can't figure out how to
Wait, they love each other? They don't just love the idea of each other? Why didn't you mention that?
build a life together because they have fundamentally different assumptions about what that life should look like. My approach now is complete honesty from day one. I tell women I date exactly what I can and can't offer.
See, before when he dated, his approach was to be dishonest. Now he's honest with women. Apparently, he had problems in past relationships because he started off with a policy of dishonesty. I think the honesty thing's probably going to work better for you there, Chucky boy. I have no idea what his name is. I'm just guessing that, maybe, yeah, I do agree that starting your relationship with honesty and then continuing your relationship with honesty and being honest with each other, pretty good idea the whole way through.
I can offer commitment, loyalty, financial support when needed, and genuine partnership. I can't offer marriage, permanent financial responsibility for extended family, or the social status that comes with being a foreign husband. Some women aren't interested in that, and that's fine. The ones who are tend to be more independent, more financially stable, and more interested in the actual relationship than what it represents.
No, no. So this is another thing that I don't remember if he mentioned it yet or if he mentions it somewhere, but that because he talks about these women who are I don't remember if I've heard this mentioned a lot that people want to come to Thailand because they want to marry a woman who has traditional values. Well, the traditional values include the things that he says he doesn't like, and if he's dating women who don't want to get married and don't want to have children and they're financially stable. Basically, I guess this dude is broke, and he wants women who can pay for their own shit. Okay, I don't. I'm sure there are some Thai women who are happy to date foreigners who don't pay for everything. I think it's pretty common that if a foreign man comes to Thailand, he pays for everything. You want to date women who pay for? Are they paying for dinner? Like what's going on? Do they pay for your gas for this crappy scooter you're driving?
I've been with my current girlfriend for 2 years. She has her own career, her own apartment, her own friends.
She has her own apartment? You mean you don't sleep together? And so if she has her own apartment and she has her own friends and you got he's banging other women, right? Do you see that? They're apparently not spending every night together. She goes out with her friends and he goes out with his friends and he's banging hookers when he's not with his girlfriend.
We spend time together because we enjoy each other's company, not because we need each other to survive. When her family needs help, we discuss it and I contribute what I can, but it's not an automatic obligation, and she
It's not an automatic obligation for anyone.
doesn't resent me when I can't help with everything. This works because we both chose this dynamic consciously rather than assuming marriage would somehow solve our differences. Look, if you're considering marriage to a Thai woman, I'm not trying to talk you out of it.
You're not? Did you see the title of your video? Did you listen to the video before you got to this point? Yes, you're trying to talk people out of marrying a Thai woman. Yeah, you very clearly are. You've been dishonest multiple times in the video, and now you're telling us you're not trying to talk you out of marrying a Thai woman, except I just spent 12 minutes so far trying to talk you out of marrying a Thai woman.
But I am trying to get you to think it through completely. Ask yourself, are you marrying her because you genuinely want to spend your life navigating Thai family culture.
No, I married her because I genuinely want to spend the rest of my life with her and everything that goes with it. No one marries their wife because they want the 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 family relationship, something that comes with it. The primary thing you want is her. You want to be with her.
Supporting extended relatives, and building something together in Thailand? Or are you marrying her because the relationship feels good right now and you assume marriage won't change anything important? If it's the first one and you're willing to do the work to make it successful, go for it. But if it's the second one, you might want to consider whether what you have right now is actually better than what marriage would give you. For me, the choice is clear. I'd rather have conscious, chosen love than obligated, complicated love.
I'd rather have sex with whoever I want than have a relationship with somebody where we only have sex with each other and we build a life together. Like, he doesn't want to build something with another person.
But that's just me.
I mean, I agree 100%. If you don't want to build something together, then maybe don't get married. Because when you get married, you're building something together. You're building a relationship. You're building a family. You're building a life together. That's what marrying is.
What about you? Drop your thoughts in the
All right. So I think this guy's a chimp. Um, that sure. Oh, poor Optimus. I left Optimus hanging over here. Uh, let's just check the chat again. Scooter guy seems to be cosplaying relationships 100%. Opzar is I'm late as Warren having second thoughts. No. There's a video that somebody sent me that he said reminded me of my relationship with my wife, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But I watched the video and I thought this would be a good video to talk about. Like, there's this concept of reaction video, so I'm reacting to this guy's video where he's saying that you shouldn't marry a Thai woman, and he's dishonest with himself or he's dishonest with his viewers multiple times. And the plain and simple truth is, if you to some extent, he says something obvious. If you don't want to build something together, if you want to have casual relationships and have sex with whoever you want, whenever you want, and be able to walk away whenever you want with no stress and no difficulties, then yeah, marriage isn't for you, and that's not specifically a Thailand thing. And if you want someone who doesn't care about her family, I don't think that woman makes a good. I generally think a woman who has a good relationship with her family is more likely to be good marriage material than a woman who doesn't talk to her family and is not involved with her family, doesn't care about her family. You got to make up your own mind about that one. Thank you, Jolly Man. All right, so I've gone way too long. This is like 90 minutes. I should definitely wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you, Mark, in particular, for the updates on the SpaceX launch. Look in the chat, Mark. There's a SpaceX launch in about 18 minutes. And thank you to B, and thanks to everybody else for watching. And happy Farong and Jolly Man for chipping in the Thai experience. Thanks, everyone.